What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about Star Wars Squadrons before it drops. Now, if you're not subscribed to us, definitely make sure to do that now because we're going to be covering Star Wars Squadrons a lot in the coming weeks, and you're not going to want to miss any of it. But without further ado, let's get into it. Star Wars Squadrons is an upcoming starfighter game developed by Motive Studios and published by Electronic Arts. And its release date is set for October 2nd. Pre-order is already available, and it has been for some time. It's going to be released for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Squadron's creative director at Motive Studios, Ian Fraser, confirmed that backwards compatibility will work for the game with the next-gen Xbox and PlayStation consoles, but a new version is not going to be released that is custom-tailored to these consoles. That's unlikely, because the game is meant for the current generation of consoles. Now, cross-platform will be enabled, cross-platform play will be enabled, and the game is going to offer a campaign as well as multiplayer options, so you'll be able to play with everyone all at the same time no matter what console anybody's on. The setting of the game is after the second Death Star is destroyed and after the Battle of Endor, and the entire game is going to be played from a first-person point of view, meaning that the player will be inside the ship's cockpit for all of the gameplay. Now, virtual reality will work with a PC version, and PlayStation VR will also be supported. All versions will be compatible with HOTAS systems, HOTAS systems, if you're looking for an even more immersive experience, more added realism. Joysticks with buttons will be compatible with the game, so you'll be able to feel like you're actually flying in one of the starfighters. Instrument settings for all of these things will be adjustable in the settings menu, and you can adjust how much heads-up display you want for added realism in the game as well. And the mechanics of the game are almost nothing like Starfighter Assault and Battlefront 2, so get ready for a completely immersive and new experience with this game. Now, single player and multiplayer options are both going to be available for Squadrons. The single player is going to be an all-new campaign with a new story. The campaign itself is going to alternate between both Imperial and New Republic pilots and tactics, and the main focuses will be on the Vanguard Squadron from the New Republic and the Titan Squadron from the Empire as you play through the campaign. The Imperial side will focus on a pilot named Varko Grey, and he's the Titan Squadron leader, and the New Republic pilot that would be playing in the campaign has actually not been determined yet. At least some of the campaign is going to be focused around Project Starhawk, which is a New Republic plan to build the Starhawk class battleship, and that plan is headquartered at Nadiri and takes place at Sasebo. As for multiplayer in Squadrons, there will be two different game modes available. These are called Dogfight and Fleet Battles. Now, Dogfight is just a basic 5v5 starfighter battle. It's like a team deathmatch where whoever gets more kills is the winner. So we're not going to go too much into that because it's pretty self-explanatory. The main attraction for multiplayer in this game is the Fleet Battles mode, which is objective-based. The goal of it is to destroy the other team's capital ships, and then you win by destroying all the capital ships and getting to the opposition's flagship and destroying that. The mode can be played as a multiplayer match or in an arcade-type mode against AI bots, and there will be a tutorial for this game mode because it's going to be one of the most immersive experiences in the game, and it's going to be pretty much like nothing else that we've seen before from the EA Star Wars universe. The game mode will also involve a lobby-type area before the battle actually starts, in which you will be able to interact face-to-face with other pilots and coordinate battle plans, as well as an area where aesthetics and loadouts of the ship and pilot can be adjusted and customized. So, of course, since the ships and starfighters are the main focus of the Squadrons game, there's a load of details to discuss about those. The options are going to be similar to Battlefront 2 with the addition of a support class, at least relative to the options for ships that you're going to be able to use. So we're going to have, the stereotypical fighter, interceptor, and bomber ships, as well as, like I said, the support class. Now, the support class is the interesting addition because it's going to be able to supply the team with repairs and supplies, and it'll also be able to disrupt enemy ship systems to make them easier to kill. Every ship will have at least 4 stat lines, and these are maneuverability, firepower, armor, and shields. And each stat line will also include information on the ship's silhouette and cockpit visibility. Now, all silhouettes in the game are pretty much the same. The ships are going to be easier to hit from above and below and harder to hit when chasing them or moving towards them from the front. That's not really a big detail because it's pretty much what we've seen before from Battlefront 2 and other starfighter assault games in the EA Star Wars universe. So we're going to move on from that. Now, there are 4 different types of ships, each for the New Republic and the Empire. And we're going to start with the New Republic here. The fighter option for the New Republic is the Incom T-65 X-Wing Starfighter. It's pretty much balanced as you would expect from a fighter class ship. It's got medium in all stats. It's the most balanced ship, as I said. Visibility to the front is totally clear. It's also totally clear above and to the sides of the cockpit, but the visibility will not be clear out the bottom of the ship or behind it, and that's pretty much what you would expect. The interceptor for the New Republic is the Kuat Systems RZ-1 A-Wing interceptor. Its maneuverability is high as you would expect. Its firepower is high, but only against starfighters. So don't expect to be able to take out something like a capital ship with an interceptor, but it will have high power against smaller ships like starfighters. EA makes this distinction because power is lower on other things and they can play different roles in the battle. Armor and shields on the interceptors are low. Visibility is unobstructed to the front of the ship, above as well as to the sides, and like the fighter, it's restricted below and behind the ship. Now, the bomber option for the New Republic is the Corsair BTL Y-Wing bomber, which has low maneuverability as you would expect, but it has high firepower, armor, and shields. Its visibility will be clear to the front and sides of it, but it's restricted above, below, and behind, so it has less visibility than the average fighter or interceptor. And then the support craft for the New Republic is the Incom UT-60D U-Wing support craft, which has actually medium maneuverability, so it's going to be able to get around a little bit better than a bomber would. But it has low firepower, high armor and shields, and its visibility is clear forward, above, and to the sides like the fighter. There will also be a little bit of limited visibility below the pilot's feet on these ships, so the support craft are going to be able to see kind of all around, and it has more visibility than all of the other New Republic ships. Now, as for the Empire ships, there's a big difference in that only the Imperial support ship has shields. All 3 other classes don't have shields like the New Republic would, and so I see that as being sort of a vulnerability for the Imperial side, but they do make up for that with firepower, according to what it looks like. The fighter option for the Empire is the Seinar Tai LN fighter, which is balanced and medium in all its stats as you would expect for a fighter. Its visibility is great to the front. The fighter, and actually all Imperial ships, basically for that matter, will have very good visibility out the front of them. You'll be able to see above and below the horizon line basically, because there's just basically a large portal in the front of the ship where you can look out of, like as you're flying. But you're not going to be able to see really below, behind, or above you, even to the sides really. So for the Empire ships, the restricted visibility is going to be something that differentiates from the New Republic. The interceptor option for the Empire is the TIE IN interceptor. Like the New Republic, it has high maneuverability and power. It has low armor and no shields, and its visibility is pretty much the same as the fighter because it has the same cockpit. The bomber as well is similar. It's a little bit wider than the fighter and the interceptor. It has low maneuverability, high firepower and armor, but it as well does not have any shields, and its visibility is the same because it's made out of the same cockpit, basically linked together. Now, the Reaper support ship is the Empire's support craft. It's the one that's pretty much got the most differences between all the Empire ships. It has medium maneuverability, so it can get around, low firepower, high armor, and it does have high shields, so it's the only Empire ship that does have shields. Its visibility will be good forwards, above, and to the sides because it has a different cockpit than the other 3 ships, and it will not be able to see anything below or behind it. And the support ship for the Empire is really the main difference among those ships. They're pretty much all very similar. So there are going to be a lot of customization options in Star Wars Squadrons. Ship skins and characters are going to be customizable, and for characters, voice lines and emotes will be able to be chosen, and that's similar to Battlefront 2. 2 currencies are going to be able to be spent in the game. One is used for actual module customizations that have an effect in battle, and then the other is going to be used only for cosmetics. There are no microtransactions with real money in this game. Ships will be able to be tuned or customized with performance modifications. There will be a set amount of power that will be adjusted between all the ship systems in battle. One example of this, if you focus a lot of this power on the engines, a boost option is able to be activated kind of like an afterburner. So you can kind of designate power to the systems that you want to be more powerful, which throws in kind of an interesting battle dynamic in gameplay. And each ship will carry different customization options for a multitude of modules such as primary weapons, auxiliary weapons, countermeasures, hulls, shields, and the engine as well. So far, 6 locations have been revealed for the Squadrons game. So I'm just going to run through those really quickly. The first one is Yavin Prime, which is the gas giant mother planet for Yavin 4, which is the location of the Rebel base in the original trilogy, and it's still significant after the Battle of Endor for the New Republic, which is why it's used in this game. The second location is Esseles, which is an icy planet near the New Republic territory, but it's home to a fiercely defended Imperial post. The third location is the Nadiri Dockyards, which is a ship manufacturing facility in the Bormia sector. It's one of the most well-defended New Republic bases. The fourth location is Sasubo, which is a New Republic planet in the Bormia sector as well. It's one of the primary locations where Project Starhawk takes place, so that one's also very well defended by the New Republic. The fifth location is the planet Galatan, which is actually a moon in the Ringali Nebula. And the nebula has actually pulled the moon into a bunch of molten fragments floating in space. So I think that's going to be a really cool effect on the map's graphics. And that is also the case for the Xavian Abyss, which is the last map. And that's a vast field in the expansion region. It's filled with electrical energy and shipwrecks from a nearby Maelstrom. So I think that's also going to be a map that Motive put a lot of cool visual effects into. And that's pretty much all of the locations that have been revealed for Squadrons thus far. So the last thing I wanted to talk about today is the CG short that was released this morning to detail some of the backstory of the main characters of Squadrons. The short movie was produced by Motive, Lucasfilm, and ILM. It details the New Republic basically attacking the Imperial dockyard at Varsha as the Empire is retreating. And the main protagonist for the Imperial side of the campaign of Squadrons, Varko Grey, is left behind as the Empire retreats because his ship is injured. An X-Wing from the New Republic breaks off of his fleet and then starts chasing down Varko once he's found him in the debris field, chases him all the way to the planet, and then the X-Wing crashes into the side of a cliff. It then shows Varko skidding across the water. His ship goes into the water, and then the next thing you see is Varko climbing up onto the seashore. Barely survived. So this is basically giving us some of the backstory for Squadrons and how the story goes, basically. We now know that the Imperial protagonist is Varko Grey, as I said, and it's also given way to some new pre-order content. So I'm just going to run over that really quickly. If you pre-order Squadrons as of today, you get an epic New Republic Varsha Hunter X-Wing skin, because as I said, the ships are customizable. You also get an epic rarity Imperial Varsha Survivor TIE Interceptor skin, so you get one ship skin for each side. As of this morning, since the short was just released, along with all the other pre-order bonuses that you get, which include a couple flight suits, a couple more starfighter skins, and some decals. So that will about do it for our overview of Star Wars Squadrons for today. That's pretty much all the information you need to know up to this point that has been released. Like I said, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because we're definitely going to be doing a lot more coverage of the Squadrons game from here until it's released, and then definitely some release date gameplay and gameplay after that. So make sure you don't miss any of that. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit like if this video is helpful to you. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next one.